What is going on, YouTube fam? Hope you are well, as promised. Oh, we have the Beretta out here, and I was telling you in the little unboxing video that we had modified it and put sights and the Langdon Tactical trigger in a bag kit in there and stuff like that. And I just wanted to kind of go over with you how you would put these parts in if you choose to do this on yourself, by yourself. None of this is hard, but if you're not comfortable, please pay somebody to do it. First thing we're going to do, this gun has been safety checked. It is empty. There's nothing in it. So we don't need a magazine, so we're going to set that to the side. And I'm just trying to make sure y'all can see me in here. Zoom in some. The first thing we're going to do is take the gun down. So we're going to slide the hammer, slide back, pull down our thing, and we're going to slide the slide forward. And that separates that. We're going to go into this as well because I'm going to show you how to take the Type F decocker slash safety and just make it a decocker, because I did forget my armor's block. I do need tools. You don't have to use an armor's little block like this, but it is helpful. This is a Wheeler one. I got some Starrett steel punches that I use. It is recommended that you use brass punches. I do have a set of brass punches as well. These are old. I've had these for quite a while, and a lot of them are just so beat up that it's just time for a new set of brass punches. But ideally, when you work on firearms, use brass because it doesn't damage the thing. You just, worst case, you leave a little brass that you can dissolve off. So that you will need punches. Need a little screwdriver, just a little flathead, and a little brass hammer with a plastic tap on one end, and that's pretty much all you need. To do this is with as much detail as I can for you all. So first thing to point out, and again, there's going to be a lot of zooming in this just because there's no other real way to show you. When you're looking down in here, in order to remove this sear housing, there's something that you need to do, and what you're going to want to do is cock the hammer back as so, and I'm trying to get it to where I can see it on the camera too, because this is hard one person. You have your trigger bar that's running along here going down into your sear group, and there's a little spring in there, and hopefully you can see it. That's about the only issue I got, is so hard to get any light in there. Push this pin out right here. So what you want to do is, holding the hammer, pull the trigger, and then release the hammer back. And you're doing that so you can get this trigger bar right here up and out of the way of this spring, like so. It's extremely hard to do on camera, but you're just gonna kind of pull it out and move that little spring out the way there. But as you can see, we popped this little pin out right there. Hopefully you can see. Anyway, a little pin right there, and you just slide that bad boy out. You don't set it right there, and you can release your trigger back to normal position. Let me zoom back out just a little bit. I promise I'll show you that little thing once I get the unit out. I can actually show you as we're looking at this one. Essentially what we're looking at is this spring right here. right there, all you're doing is allowing yourself to essentially, this pin goes through here like this, as you can see, and when you push that pin through, then you have this little metal thing and it locks on. That little metal tab locks on through this little groove cut in that pin, and it just holds it in. So that's all you're doing, is kind of pushing it out the way. I hope that makes sense. It's just the only easy way to show you in this. There we go. So this is how it is in the gun. It's sitting like this, just like this. So just see this in the gun right here. I'm just sliding this down. This pin actually slides right through here, like so. And as it slides through, you see that pin right there? When you push it, this little wire goes in that groove. So all you're wanting to do is slide in and push this pin downward, and then that pin will fall right out, and you can remove that pin from the gun. I know that sounds probably more confusing, but hopefully with that little demonstration you can see it. I know it's very small parts, so it is a little more difficult to see. Then all you're going to do is take your punch here. Make sure you hold this. This is under spring tension. Mind you, like I said, this is sitting in there like this. This is pushed down by this hammer spring right here, and this locks in to the bottom of this cap right here. So when you're pushing this down, you do have this spring tension ready to push up. So if you pop this unit out, that second pin, you want to make sure you're holding this whole assembly down, otherwise it'll fire off. So just you know, put your hand right there and get your little punch. You don't really need to do a whole lot there. Just push it down through, and that's actually a little too small. Then you just push it down in there, and as you can see, that pushes that little pin out. No big deal. And then this unit you can release out with the spring pressure. Like I said, this is under spring pressure, so if you just pop it out, it will fire out of there. So now you're looking at the firearm, and you're just going to slide this thing up and out. Now look at that right there. This is your trigger bar. When you're reinstalling this, this is where that trigger bar is going to rest into, just as an FYI. And then this unit pulls out, and this is the Langdon trigger group. Okay, and the Langdon trigger bar. To get this trigger bar out is super easy. You just pull this trigger forward and lift this up. And it's a little hard doing it for the camera, but just pull it up just so you can clear that little spot. Got a glare when I'm holding it at the window. There we go. So essentially this little nub right there, if you can see it, there's just a little metal bar, and it just actually slides into that hole. There's really nothing else to it. And then when you fall it back, the frame holds it in there. And then, you know, reinstalled. Really ain't nothing to it. And that's the trigger bar when you want to swap that out. Super easy. The spring on this is the trigger spring, which this is a 11-pound spring is what I opted for. This makes the lighter pull. It's also noteworthy, some of these parts are a little more refined and polished compared to the stock group. But that's all you do to change the trigger. There's nothing else to it. It's really that simple. It takes 5 minutes. And then to put it back in, it's really just as easy. You just kind of lift that out of the way for a minute. I'm going to use my little light here to shine it down where this hammer spring slides down into, and these two bars, they basically are sliding down into this part of the frame right here. And you'll see it. I know it's harder to see on camera possibly, but if you look down in there, you can see where it's going. It's literally slide it all down in there, and it's in there. Then you're going to want to pull your trigger up or back just a little bit, because you want to make sure that your double action part of your trigger goes in there before you push it down. And you might have to pull up the trigger a little bit, like so, because that's the part right there. This is your double action, this is your single action part. So you just kind of pull on the trigger just to make it fall back in there. And then you push your sear unit back down in there. Remember, it's under spring tension, so now you've got it in there. Take your pin and slide it back through there. Take your little plastic hammer, push it in. Take your other pin, put it in, verify functionality. Both your double and single action are working, and you'll verify that again once you put the whole slide together. But that's really all there is to putting that Langdon tactical trigger in to the firearm. One thing I'll show you outside of the actual unit, just in case you would like to do so. I'll set this to the side for a minute, and we'll pull back our factory Beretta unit. If you wish to change this hammer, okay, I'm gonna zoom in some because I want you to be able to see this as best as possible. If you wish to change this hammer to, say, this hammer, which is the one that Langdon put in there, if you want the no-show trigger assembly, it's very simple to do this. All you need to do is take this pin, this wire right here, and you'd actually go ahead and just kind of pop it out. It's best to use a pick, but I don't have a pick. It's easiest. Just take this and take your spring and there's the spring knot, there's a little notch in there. You just want to kind of push it over, and then we're going to push it up, and we're just going to set that out of the way. That's our little spring right there. Then all you got to do take this and slide this post out here, like so, on this side. And set that out. And then this separates you from that group, and then you're left with your hammer right here. Inside, right there, there's just a little pin, a push pin. You need your punch, and you just punch that out. And take your pin out. Then you would take your new hammer and you just put this little spring assembly, hammer spring assembly, directly up into there, and take that little pin you just pushed out and push it back through this hammer spring assembly, and that'll keep this hammer attached to this. Essentially, you're replacing that like so, and you would have the concealed hammer at that point in your pistol, if that's what you want to do. That's all there is to changing the actual hammer. It's really not a big deal. And when you're ready, you just set your thing back in there. This is under a little spring tension too, so do be aware, you know, just keep your finger on it. And then you push it back in through there and slide your post in. It's always harder to do on camera, but it's not hard once you're not trying to show an angle on camera. Just push your post in. Let me just get it started. It's so hard to see. I don't know why I got such a glare out that window today. And then basically you're just pushing that pin back through, push it in like that. And you'll know that this is right here because there's going to be a little groove, and I know I'll never be able to show you this on camera. It would be almost impossible probably. On this little cutout right there, there's just a little groove for this wire to go through because it captures that pin in there. When you're ready to put it back together, you just go in there and push it down and recapture the spring onto this post. Like so. Then you're gonna take your spring right there, and all you're going to do is fold it up. Again, it's really not that hard. It's just the camera angle. Let's see if I can't do it like this. Just try to pull it up. Of course, everything always fights you when you're on camera. So now just pull it up, and just because it's the angle I'm at, I can't really see. I'm gonna zoom in real good here. I want y'all to be able to see as best as you can how that spring captures in there. Little notch, spring goes down around this post. There's a little groove cut out of this pin that we pulled out where I showed you how to attach the hammer. This spring locks that pin into place to keep the hammer assembly locked to the sear assembly. And that's it with that. And then you've changed your hammer if you want to. Not too shabby, pretty easy. I'll just give you a zoom out. That way we can still see what we're going on. All right, and that is how you do the trigger in a bag. If you're interested in doing a trigger in a bag. In the next video, we will show you how to take your Type F pistol and modify the slide. Or not modify the slide, I shouldn't even say that. We're not modifying anything. We're just taking a ball bearing out to keep it from locking. And we'll show you that in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay armed. We'll see you soon.